Now, more of Illinois Rising, presented by the Illinois Policy Institute, the only show directly addressing the problems and solutions for Illinois. Now, from AM 560, here's Dan Proft.
Dan Proft back with Jacob Huebert, lead attorney for the Liberty Justice Center. Thanks for joining us on this edition of Illinois Rising. And Jacob, we were talking about the Ed Burke ordinance to ban driverless car technology in Chicago. He makes two arguments. We talked about this with Ronald Bailey, but let's hear directly from Ed Burke. When he joined us on my morning show, I co-host with Amy Jacobson, he made the jobs argument, got to protect jobs against competition. He made the safety argument, and here are those in short order.
There are literally hundreds and hundreds of thousands of jobs where people operate motor vehicles, delivery trucks, taxi cabs. What about those jobs that would disappear from our economy? Has anybody thought about what the ultimate result of that would be?
Yeah, it's always in the interest of protecting jobs that exist rather than allowing for the potential of new jobs to be created.
And why wouldn't Ed Burke know a whole lot about how to create jobs? After all, I mean, he's been a politician for like 50 years. I mean, they know something about creating jobs, and Chicago's created a lot of jobs, right?
Yeah, well, it's not going so well, although to hear Ed Burke talk about it, at least with us, is, look, we've got McDonald's is coming. They're moving their campus from Oak Brook to Chicago. You got that going on, and other corporate headquarters. So what's the problem?
I don't know. I guess he's interested in the kind of people who work at corporate headquarters and thinks that's a good thing for the city to have, or keeping people alive in obsolete jobs for as long as possible while other cities pass us by. Those seem to be his ideas.
Well, and this is, I guess, consistent of an overall mindset by the city council, isn't it? And I know with the Liberty Justice Center, you have and are litigating some of these matters as it pertains to things like how long it takes to obtain a business license in Illinois and the crackdown or the attempt to prevent food carts and the location of food trucks and some of these other issues.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, the city of Chicago has been incredibly hostile to people who want to start a business here for years. To me, it's amazing to walk around and see any businesses at all starting up in Chicago, given how hostile they are. And of course, if the likes of Ed Burke really cared about creating jobs and making this a place where people can earn a living, they would look at what's on the books and what they can take off the books to get rid of these barriers that make it incredibly difficult to start any kind of new business, especially any kind of innovative business like a food truck or like a new type of technology. They would look to get rid of those things. But of course, that's not what they do. They look toward the special interests who fund them, whether it's the kind of people who build corporate headquarters or the kind of people who run the established hotel business or the kind of people in the taxi business. They're the ones they're looking out for. It's looking out for the particular special interest, not the interest of Chicagoans as a whole, and they don't look at what actually makes for a thriving economy and real job creation.
Now, Burke also raised the safety issue with respect to new technology, but I want to tackle this too because there's some problems trying to crowd out old technology that competes as well. So you talk about the technology, and one of the arguments you made is a safety argument. I mean, I suppose Pittsburgh and the leaders there are probably as concerned, I would suspect they're as concerned about the safety of their residents as you are the safety of Chicago residents. But that
I don't know. If you read the stories, you would have learned that the mayor of Pittsburgh, without consultation with any other officials, not the city council, not the police department, not the fire department, single-handedly authorized this experiment.
Imagine a mayor of a big city doing something single-handedly. Never heard of such a thing. Here's the question about driver.
Number one, Pittsburgh isn't a big city.
Okay. So Pittsburgh isn't a big city. It's a little bit of a geography commentary on Ed Burke, urban planner.
If you've been there lately, you get the sense very much that it's a healthy, dynamic, thriving, growing city, which you don't necessarily feel driving around certain parts of Chicago.
Well, the other thing is we had the mayor of Pittsburgh on the morning show to respond to Ed Burke's comments, and it turns out, this will surprise folks, I'm sure, Ed Burke is incorrect about the mayor not consulting with fire and police and the city council and actually federal officials, because transportation is also largely a federal issue, with respect to launching the driverless car technology, the beta testing of it in the city of Pittsburgh. So that's simply not the case. But on the safety issue, Ed Burke is very concerned about the safety of residents. But for example, why are pedicabs so difficult to get a license? I mean, so the people that pedal have a bike and a cart to, move people around the city. That's not a new technology. That's not anything that needs to be developed. And yet, even there on the other side, on kind of the old technology side, there are barriers to entry to protect those that finance the politicians like the taxi cab.
Well, that's right. Remember, Burke and his friends wanted to keep pedicabs from operating in the city, and Burke led a charge to ban horse-drawn carriages in the city. There's really no consistency in what the man wants to ban, except the things that, of course, consumers seem to want a lot. He's ready to second guess.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of deep thinkers on the city council. You mentioned the horse-drawn carriages that operate in the Gold Coast and so forth. One of the great proposals of all time by former 42nd Ward Alderman Burke Nateris was to put diapers on horses so as to deal with the excretions of those transportation modes. And now we have a 42nd Ward Alderman who replaced Burke Nateris named Brendan Riley, who wants to crack down on food trucks. So the inanity passes from one political generation to the other in Chicago.